and good day. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz from eTurboNews, and this is a breaking news update. For more news updates and shows, please go to youtube.com/travel news group. youtube.com/travel news group. Here's our update.
EasyJet flies out of Gatwick Airport on sustainable aviation fuel. A total of 42 EasyJet flights operating from Gatwick Airport are to be powered by a 30% Neste My Sustainable Aviation Fuel blend. For the first time, a departing flight at Gatwick has used Sustainable Aviation Fuel (SAF). Kuwait Aviation has delivered the first supply of Neste My Sustainable Aviation Fuel to the fuel supply at Gatwick Airport. It confirms the strong commitment of all parties involved to achieve a net carbon emission reduction in the fuel used in aviation and work towards an ultimate goal for aviation to reach net zero emissions by 2050. With the first one departing today, a total of 42 EasyJet flights operating from Gatwick Airport are to be powered by a 30% Neste My Sustainable Aviation Fuel blend. This important milestone marks the first time a departing flight at Gatwick has used Sustainable Aviation Fuel (SAF), and is also the first usage by any EasyJet service. It confirms the strong commitment of all parties involved: international aviation fuel supplier Kuwait Aviation, EasyJet, Gatwick Airport Limited and Neste to achieve a net carbon emission reduction in the fuel used in aviation and work towards an ultimate goal for aviation to reach net zero emissions by 2050. Of the 42 flights running on Neste My Sustainable Aviation Fuel blend, 39 of these will be the EasyJet flights operating from Gatwick to Glasgow throughout the COP26 Climate Change Conference, which runs from the 31st of October to the 12th of November. Across all 42 flights, greenhouse gas emissions will be reduced by up to 70 tons, which further signals the industry's intentions to reduce greenhouse gas emissions on a course to reaching net zero emissions by 2050. Kuwait Aviation has delivered the first supply of Neste My Sustainable Aviation Fuel to the fuel supply at Gatwick Airport. Neste's market-leading sustainable aviation fuel, which is fully certified, is produced from 100% renewable and sustainable waste and residue raw materials, such as used cooking oil and animal fat waste. In its neat form and over its life cycle, Neste My Sustainable Aviation Fuel can achieve a reduction of up to 80% of greenhouse gas emissions compared to fossil jet fuel use. Neste-produced SAF is blended with Jet A1 fuel at a depot upstream of Gatwick Airport to create a drop in fuel that is compatible with existing aircraft engines and the airport infrastructure, without requiring extra investment. Kuwait Aviation delivered the fuel to the main storage tanks at Gatwick Airport for supply to EasyJet aircraft via the airport's hydrant system. The incorporation of SAF into Gatwick's operations for today's flight is an important proof of concept for the airport in demonstrating its continued commitment to work with its aviation partners on decarbonization. Gatwick's own 2019 carbon footprint showed that the airport is already halfway to net zero for its own operations and is committed to achieving net zero direct emissions by 2040. Jonathan Wood, Vice President Europe, Renewable Aviation at Neste said, "The aviation industry has already taken important steps to reduce its environmental impact. A key element in achieving this is the wider introduction of sustainable aviation fuel. Neste is investing as we speak to increase SAF production capacity from 100,000 metric tons to 1.5 million metric tons annually in 2023. Neste welcomes government proposals to encourage the use of SAF to reduce aviation greenhouse gas emissions. It is important that more and more airlines, airports and fuel suppliers lead the way to a more sustainable future for aviation. We are happy to welcome EasyJet, Kuwait Aviation and Gatwick Airport among these frontrunners." Nasser Ben Butane, General Manager Kuwait Aviation said, "We are delighted to play our part in supplying the first sustainable aviation fuel to EasyJet at Gatwick. We have forged a strong partnership with EasyJet over many years, and benefit from excellent support from Gatwick Airport Limited and Neste, and look forward to working closely with all the partners to further our sustainability objectives." Jane Ashton, Director of Sustainability at EasyJet said, "At EasyJet, we want to play our part to lead the decarbonization of aviation. We're pleased to announce that today we're operating using SAF in a proof-of-concept flight from Gatwick, having also committed to using a SAF blend on all flights operating from Gatwick to Glasgow throughout COP26, thanks to a collaborative effort with our partners involved in this project. The availability of SAF still needs to grow, but they will be an important interim solution in our decarbonization pathway, while we are supporting the development of zero-emission aircraft, which will be the most sustainable solution for short-haul networks such as our own in the long term. In the meantime, we are operating our flights as efficiently as possible and are currently the only major European airline to offset the carbon emissions from the fuel used for all our flights, which has an impact right now. Tim Norwood, Director of Corporate Affairs, Planning and Sustainability of Gatwick Airport said, "We are very pleased to work with EasyJet, Q8 Aviation and Neste to demonstrate SAF use at Gatwick Airport. SAF is one of several ways that UK aviation and Gatwick will reach net zero carbon by 2050, alongside carbon offsets, airspace modernization and continued innovation in aerospace technology, including electric, hydrogen and hybrid aircraft systems." With smart government policy to underpin investment in cost-competitive UK SAF production, many more flights could be using UK-produced SAF by the mid-2020s. Achieving net zero emissions by 2050 is both a great challenge and an opportunity for our industry. Sustainable Aviation's decarbonization roadmap and interim goals set out clear milestones, and we're ready to play our part at Gatwick, through implementing the roadmap's first decade milestones and by keeping the roadmap updated to incorporate additional technology solutions for the 2030s.
Thank you for listening to our news update. There's more on youtube.com/travel news group, or you can read us, of course, in going to our news portal at eTurboNews.com or travelnews.online.